I belong to a special group of women. My friends and I have an amazing bond. We never wanted to be in this group, yet we are in for life. Maybe we have met, maybe we haven't, yet our love for each other is boundless.
We know the pain that everyone feels, and we share our victories, small or huge. Words like chemo, IV, Zofran, bald heads are always part of our conversations, as well as roid rage, tears, and meltdowns.
We always know where the closest puke bucket is. We can hold it in one hand and, if necessary, swallow the sandwich the other hand was holding. We can drive to the hospital, park in the dark parking garage, make our way through the halls of the hospital and to the appropriate floor, settle in a room, turn the TV on, give instructions to the head nurse.
Silence loud beeping IV pumps. Direct the wagon and IV pull to the playroom without hitting anything. Make our way to the correct room. And all of this, mind you, with our eyes closed at any given time. We know how to draw blood from lines sticking out of our little kids' chests. We can hold them down with one hand while a nasogastric tube is inserted in their little nose, and be on the phone with their dad at the same time.
We can live for days on hospital food and on maybe only one meal a day. We know the names of up to 20 different drugs, their purpose, dosage, and time to be taken. We are always on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are used to not always looking our best, hard to do with only a few hours of sleep. Makeup, hairstyling, skirts are words of the past.
We have become addicted to texting. Hospital, clinic, home, wherever. We talk, sometimes at all hours of the night. We know we can count on someone to be up.
Then for one of us, the world stops. She has to walk away broken. This job is over. The job is over, but the fight is on.
Remember, I said we were in this forever. We are friends,
sisters, temporary nurses. We are each other's rock, each other's punching bag. We listen, we vent, we cry, we laugh together. We share our lives and our deaths. We share our pain and our victories. We are strong, but not by choice.
Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but never are we defeated. We are not nurses, we are not doctors. We are cancer moms.
I hope you never have to hear the words, your child has cancer. I hope you never have to hear the prognosis is not good. I hope you never have to prepare to undergo radiation or chemotherapy, have a port surgically inserted into their chest, be connected to IV poles, and look at you with fear in their eyes and say, "Don't worry, Mommy, everything will be okay." I hope you never have to hold your child as they vomit green bile. I hope you never have to feed them ice chips for lunch. I hope you never have to watch the cure you pray for slowly take away their identity as they lose their hair, become skeletal, swell up from steroids, become barely or unable to walk or move, and look at you with hope in their eyes and say, "It's going to be okay, Mommy." I hope you never have to stay in the hospital for weeks, months, or years at a time, where there's no privacy, sleeping in a slab with your face to the wall, where you cry in muffled silence. I hope you never have to see a mother alone, huddled in the dark hospital corridor, crying quietly after just being told there is nothing more we can do. I hope you never have to use every bit of energy you have left with all of this going on around you to remain positive and the feelings of guilt, sorrow, hope, and fear overwhelm you. I hope you never have to see a child's head bolted to a table as they receive radiation. I hope you never have to take your child home, grateful but so afraid, in a wheelchair because the chemo and radiation has damaged their muscles. 35 pounds lighter, pale, bald, and scared. And they look at you with faith in their eyes and say, "It's going to be okay, Mommy." I hope you never have to watch a family wandering aimlessly minutes after their child's body has been removed. I hope you never have to face the few friends that have stuck by you and hear them say, "Thank God that it's over with," because you know it never will be. Your life becomes a whirl of doctors, blood tests, and MRIs, and you try to get your life back to normal while living in mind-numbing fear that any one of these tests could result in hearing the dreaded words, "The cancer has returned," or "The tumor is growing," and your friends become even fewer. I hope you never have to experience any of these things, because only then will you understand.
The number of plastic and facial reconstructive surgeons that have reconstructed my left eye socket, eyelid, and face. 10. The number of years I battled retinoblastoma. 15. The number of prosthetic eyes I've had over my lifetime. 17. The number of months I was at diagnosis. 74. The number of surgeries I've had over the past 35 years. 96. The percentage of children treated in developed countries that survive this disease. 7,000. The number of children diagnosed with retinoblastoma each year around the world. Infinite. The amount of gratitude and appreciation I have for every doctor, nurse, anesthesiologist, ocularist, therapist, and surgeon who has treated me over my lifetime and helped me get to where I am today. The limit does not exist. The amount of love I have for my friends who are always by my side, ready to pick me up when I am down, make me laugh when I am sad, and always up for a good time. To infinity and beyond. The amount of love and respect I have for my mother and grandmother who battled this disease with me and all of its lifetime of side effects. 1. The number of birthdays I had without cancer. 25. The number of years I've been cancer-free. Fight on!
Hey guys, my name is Natalia. I'm 26 years old and I'm a retinoblastoma survivor. I received chemotherapy and radiation, and I did have my left eye removed. I went into remission. I was pretty much fine up until I was 22. I did have secondary effects to the treatment, but I won't get into detail. I think what caught me most off guard was that my son inherited the genes. He was diagnosed with bilateral retinal blastoma on February 24, 2015. He then received 6 cycles of intravenous chemotherapy, and since it wasn't working towards the end, we went for intraarterial chemotherapy to his most affected eye. And since it didn't work, we then decided to have his right eye removed, and his left eye still continued to get cryo and laser. He was then considered stable on May 2016, and he's been stable since then. It's been 1 year and 5 months. I think what concerns me the most would be secondary effects to treatment, like I have passed through. And I think pretty much just that we lack support and knowledge of what kids like my son and other retinoblastoma kids have. I think we'd like to know that we can trust people around our children and actually be confident enough to let them be about without having to worry about bullies, about them being neglected in school, and having them around alone by themselves. I like to think that we can actually let them be about and be themselves without all the negative circumstances. I'd like to know that we're able to raise some type of knowledge to people, awareness, and get support and love. I like support and love for children like my son.
Hi, this is Jessica here to talk about my story of being a survivor of retinoblastoma. It was back in January 1993 at a Christmas gathering at one of my parents' sides. I went back to our city for consistent checkups. My parents donated my eye to the University of Iowa hospitals, I believe, since I think they were continuing calling me these past years with information. So when I went back for my final checkups, my doctors eventually found a tumor in my left eye. They decided to do cryotherapy. It came back, so they did cryotherapy a second time. Then when the tumor came back a third time, they decided we needed to do laser surgery. I officially have a scar in my upper left-hand corner of my left eye, which results in a blind spot in my lower right-hand corner of my left eye. I continue to be cancer-free in my right eye for sure for 25 years on this upcoming February 5th, only because there's no way of me getting my old eye back. Alright, I don't like that appointment because they always shine the brightest light in my eye. Ouch. I just had my last appointment last fall winter. I don't have to go back for that appointment for a couple of years. I wouldn't do anything to change this because I probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for the surgeries that have saved my life. I continue walking to things on my right side, embarrassing myself. I was bullied and picked on in middle school and high school, consistently asked to take my right eye out, which I totally regret doing, since in my senior year of 2011, I was talked to by a teacher to not do that. anymore. I also have a continuous fear of possibly getting secondary cancers, which could result in breast cancer, brain tumor, which I've had multiple MRIs on my brain to see if it was maybe brain tumor or something. That's my story. Thanks for listening.
Hello, my name is September Stromstad. When I was 17 years old, in December of 2014, I got diagnosed with osteosarcoma, a form of bone cancer, in my tibia. I started treatment on January 1st, 2015. In June 2015, I had to get my right leg amputated due to complications with surgery. I finished chemo on August 17th, 2015, and I've been in remission ever since. I'm doing much better. It was very hard. It was one of the hardest things I had to go through, and it taught me a lot. I'm just glad to be in remission and to be doing better, and I'm hoping that it stays that way.
I was diagnosed with leukemia when I was around 3 years old, and I don't remember a lot of that specific diagnosis, but I do remember being very sick and very tired all the time and not being able to do the things that other kids could do. I remember laying in a hospital bed a bunch of days where I should have been at school. I remember other kids thinking I was contagious because I had cancer. I remember all of the bad things. And then I remember my last treatment party, which is basically a party where all the nurses are like, hey, this is your last treatment of chemo. And then when I was 6, the cancer came back, so I had relapsed. And the doctors decided that chemotherapy wouldn't be the best route to take for the second time. I had to go to San Antonio, Texas, and get a bone marrow transplant because they didn't do it in Arkansas at the time. So me and my family had to basically leave everything we had behind so we could go get me the treatment that I needed. And as I've gotten older, I've began to understand how much of a sacrifice they made for me, and they did it all without even hesitating. They were there for me when I really needed them, and I don't think I could have been as strong as I was without my family. When I was down in San Antonio, I was stuck in a hospital 90% of the time. It felt like I was there for months, but apparently it wasn't that long. I remember being in a lot of pain a lot of the time, and not just physically. I remember laying awake at night at 6 years old being scared that I wasn't gonna make it. I remember being terrified every day and just being sick of having to deal with all the needle prods and the checkups and everything. To this day, I still hate the smell of hospitals because all of my memories associated with them are awful ones. It was a really rough time, but I think the best thing that came out of it was my relationship with my family. My mom and my grandmother would drive from Texas to Arkansas just so they could work and still come see me. they snuck my little brother down to see me one time, and I'll never forget how happy that made me, because down in Texas I didn't have anything that I knew or anything that I was comfortable with. The only thing I had was that hospital room. So getting to see my little brother, it made me so happy. Having cancer is about more than the treatment. It's about the mental stress it puts on you. But now I'm fine. And it's been 12 or so years, I think. I kind of lose count. I'm cancer free since June 6, 2006. And I'm proud of it. And I only hope that I can help others who have to deal with the same traumatic experience that I did. That's honestly a huge goal for me.
Anytime a first mother sees her child, whether it's your first kid or your fifth kid, you're still overwhelmed with the love and the emotion and how absolutely perfect they are. And there's just no way to possibly love them any more than what you could. Question 2, the thing I remember most, she was just ornery. There isn't any specific time other than 50,000 times to stick out in my head. She just had that sass and that quick comeback to her that you just hated to love, but it was just endearing, and it's what drew everybody to her. And number 3, with the fundraisers, we've already done a couple. We've done some softball and volleyball tournaments, some fundraising there, and I'm hoping to do a gala just to do a little bit higher scale. We've done t-shirt sales, and we have also donated all that money to Target Pediatric AML to kind of get a new trial and more research for these kids.
My first impression of my angel, Nico, was he was the most beautiful little boy I've ever seen. He was just the sweetest thing. He had a sweet little face. He was just perfect. My favorite memory would be just his little sneaky face. We used to call him Sneaky because he would just be sly and do little sneaky things he thought he could get away with. And towards the end, just holding his hand and rubbing his little bald head and talking to him. If I could help children with cancer more, or start off a fundraiser, I would probably start off small with Nico loved Legos, so probably giving out Legos to kids with cancer and maybe siblings, and then grand idea would be like a house, a retreat, a respite housing for families to go to when they can get away from the cancer world. That's what I'd like to do.
My first impression of Sarah was just, of course, awe and pure joy and happiness. Like a little ray of sunshine had just lit my world. Just knowing that I had became a mother had just had me in just awe, and I was so happy. I think the thing that killed me the most though was having to see everything that she had went through, and that's I think that would be hard for any parent to have to watch their child slowly slip away. My most favorite memory, I have too many, but there is one that I remember whenever her brother was born. She was, in kind of a small little, not a shock, but I could tell that she seemed happy. Though she couldn't express it, because at the time we didn't know that she was sick again until they did the MRI on her about 3 months later. But she just loved her little brother to death. She really literally wanted to get him up and running and just to be able to keep up with her, and she did. My son started walking at 11 months old, so he was able to keep up with her, and it was just such good memories with them both. And it had to end, but now my son is getting better little by little, thankfully. It's just hard. If I could help children with cancer, and if I were able to start a fundraiser, which I have not yet, that's my next on my bucket list, I would start, well, I already have a fundraiser page for St. Jude. I haven't been able to grow it yet because I need to get more people involved. But my first fundraiser would be something worth cherishing, I guess. I'm guessing like maybe sell not anything like lemonade or anything like that. But just and I'll note that my Maria had gave me this idea. She gave me the idea of a hugging booth instead of a kissing booth, a hugging booth, which is really nice. I really liked it, and that would be my first fundraiser. It's just a hug, because everyone needs a hug. Basically, everyone needs a hug every once in a while, and that's the one thing most of us noticed about Sarah, was that she loved giving hugs. She was the most lovable little girl anyone could ever meet, and that would be my first fundraiser. And of course it would be named after Maria because she came up with the idea. But yes, that is a cute little fundraiser idea. But I would most definitely come up with more, team up with maybe some of JR's teachers or even my church, and just go from there and see what ideas we can come up with.
Everyone was over the moon when Jonathan was born. He was our third baby boy, and he came overdue, and he definitely had a mind of his own when he wanted to be born and how fast he was going to be born. My most favorite memory is watching the three of my boys play together and seeing all the love that they had for each other. I'm currently actually doing 2 fundraisers at the moment for Jonathan's first birthday. He passed away on his 8-month mark. So I wanted to honor him for his first birthday by doing a toy drive and a bottle drive in honor of him and to help make other children happy that aren't so happy right now.
Everyone's first impression upon meeting Miss Haley on June the 9th, 2003 was how adorable she was. She was a pudgy little thing. She was 8 pounds, 11 ounces, almost a full 9 pounds. She had the biggest chubby cheeks and the biggest beautiful blue eyes that you could imagine. Everybody, of course, wanted to snuggle and hold her. She was just the most adorable thing anyone had ever seen. My favorite memory of my angel? Wow, that's a hard one. She brought so much life and joy to everything. I guess my favorite memory would be we'd had the methotrexate toxicity, and she'd had like stroke-like symptoms and wasn't able to move anything on her right side. We spent 6 weeks in the hospital at that time, and she never lost her spirit. She was always finding new ways to make somebody smile. And she was unable to really walk on her 2 feet. She was having to use a walk assist. And but one day she discovered that she could get on the floor and she could slide on her butt. And she slid out of the room into the hallway and was just making a big ruckus. None of the nurses paid her any attention because they knew she was playing around. But she kept telling her she looked like the thing from The Ring. And she laughed and giggled, and I laughed and giggled. And I just thought at that moment, this is the strongest young lady that I have ever had the privilege of knowing. And I sure miss that baby girl. If I were able to gain more research for children and cancer, there are 2 things I'd like to do. One, I already am starting a foundation. It's going to be called Haley Streams, and it will assist other pediatric cancer patients with bills and things. We got much assistance when we needed it, and I think that's a good place to start. But second of all, I would really like to be as big, if not bigger, than the Susan G. Komen. I think it would be wonderful if on the same day in the same states every year thousands of women, men, and children would line up and walk for the 3 miles to help us to end cancer, and the competitions with the t-shirts and things. I think that would be one of the moments that I'd probably cry the hardest after having lost my child.
My name is Isabella Rodriguez, and I am the creator and producer of this project. I am going to go into a little detail of why I made this project. It is a kind of sort of my way of advocating for childhood cancer. I've been a voice for about 6 years. Since my daughter first got diagnosed. She was diagnosed with bilateral retinoblastoma at the age of 10 weeks. And we had no idea, absolutely no idea that there was such a thing until she got diagnosed. And now here we are, 6 years later, and she's no longer with us, unfortunately, because it had got so bad. And that's another thing, that's another reason why I advocate, is to kind of spread awareness for childhood cancer, and most definitely including retinoblastoma, which everyone knows the slogan, know the glow. When you see a glow in your child's eye or eyes in a photograph, just you can save your child's life. And, we had no idea. And that's why I am bringing awareness to you, not just for Red Noblesse Stone, but also all types of childhood cancer. I've had some awesome survivors and also angels, unfortunately, share their stories, and I'm very grateful for them that they had took part in this project. Now, here are ways that you can be a voice for childhood cancer.
Smile, show me where it hurts, 'cause you ain't got nothing to worry about. I said smile, No matter what you heard, there's a pale shade of gray, my friend. So smile, 'cause you ain't got nothing to worry about.